We're joined now by HuskerOnline Sean Callahan. Sean, do you think Nebraska is about a touchdown better than Rutgers heading into this game, in your opinion?
I mean, that seems about right, guys. A touchdown's a lot in a Big Ten game now. I mean, it's more like it's more like the NFL when you look at these Big Ten games. There's a lot of spreads that are going to hover in this area. Obviously, you see a lot of big ones too, where Oregon and Ohio State are 20-plus point favorites in some of these matchups. But I mean, Washington's a 2-point favorite over Michigan this week in Seattle. So the home field is big.
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers plays a style of game where points are going to be at a premium because they want to shorten this game, tighten the possessions. I like this game for Nebraska. I think it's a better matchup for them than Illinois was. And I think the heat, and Sipple and I talked about this yesterday, is going to be a factor. I mean, 95 degrees, and they're going to be on that east sideline, cooking in that sun. So, there's some advantages for Nebraska going into this game in Lincoln. But, that's about right, I would say.
Okay, Sean Callahan joins us. John Bullock, Sean, has been quite a, I'd say, revelation in that we didn't probably expect him to be the clear MVP of the defense at this point of the season. When you go back and look at him in high school, Sean, and you follow the high schools very closely, did you see this kind of coming? Did you think John Bullock's career in college could evolve, to a point where he's the best player on Nebraska's defense?
No, I don't think anybody could. I mean, When he first came, when Coach Frost was here in Chenander, it was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's just an under the radar walk-on guy.
Mm.
And, I don't think he was very high on their radar for playing time at that point. And then, he started to really come on in special teams, if you remember.
That's right.
When 2021, he was starting to, play on some specials and emerge, but he was still a safety and he wasn't a linebacker. I think what changed his career, and you heard Tony White tell that story yesterday, he goes, why is this guy in the back of the safeties line of the group? Let's put him at linebacker. We need linebackers. And I think that's the move that really changed his career, because he wasn't playing linebacker until, the 3-3-5 defense came here and they made that move. And it really changed the trajectory of his career. He still had to play behind, Nick Heinrich and Luke Reimer. But, he continued to get on the field last year, and now here he is.
Sean, also his brother, Alex Bullock, we saw him play more snaps. I'm trying to get those snaps right now. He played more snaps against Purdue. Why do you think he's playing more right now?
Blocking. I mean, I think when you look at the consistency of the perimeter edge blocking, he's going to give you a better guy out there. He played a lot last year, and obviously he's had his snaps taken back because of the additions of Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nayor.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a really good high school player too. I mean, I watched that year during COVID, during 2020 in the fall. We went to a lot of games because Nebraska didn't play till basically November, and he was a really good player as well. They're a great story, just kind of coming in as walk-ons, and both have become factors in different ways. But I think he gives them just kind of a steady presence. You saw him that one Ja'Cory Barney play. I believe he took out two guys on the edges there.
Mm-hmm. He played 22 snaps, Sean. He played 22 snaps on Saturday.
Joined by Sean. Go ahead, Sean.
That's a good number. Sorry, Jake.
Joined by Sean Callahan. Sean, Nebraska again continues to have major issues kicking the football.
Oh, yes.
Rutgers is very good at blocking kicks. The 2 block kicks in the first half for Nebraska last week. John, what do you do with the kicking game? And are you just going to go for it on every 4th down in opponent territory?
Yeah, 2 numbers, 71 and 63. 71 block kicks by Greg Schiano in his 15 years at Rutgers, 63 non-offensive touchdowns. That should scare the hell out of you, Jake Swartzen.
Wow. I am scared, Sean.
Wow, that's hard.
No, I don't think they've had a lot this year, but in the history of Schiano, that's kind of been his bread and butter. And we had Bobby Darin on last night, 24/7 Rutgers guy. I used to work with at Rivals years ago, and he said Greg Schiano coaches the special teams himself, and that's a big part of his deal. Kind of like a Frank Beamer almost. So they will try to find points there, and I don't know what the answer is. I mean, it'd be nice if early in the game they could just make a kick just to kind of get get the ball rolling. They had the ball rolling in the second half with extra points. They made 4 extra points.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, you kind of chuckle. I mean, but you got to make a 2-foot putt before you make a 10-foot putt. You know, you got to get some baby steps to get to where you want to be. But you're right, Jake. It should be a concern because Nebraska's had a punt block this year. They've had 2 field goals blocked now. Isn't
it interesting that on those PATs, I was like, okay, they got that. That's good. They kicked the PAT. It's come to that.
Drama-free in that one.
It's come to that. Okay, speaking of concerns, Sean, I'll just do the old level of concern. What's your level of concern with the I'll call it the traditional running game, just the handoff to the running back?
You know, it's more the blocking up front too. I mean, I don't know if there's been a lot there either for those guys, and it is pretty predictable when Dowdell's in. I think for defenses, they know he's going to get the ball, so they can probably commit extra bodies to that. And you've got to get off. You've got to run through somebody, or you've got to beat somebody, or get to the second level. And they just haven't had great success doing it. I mean, the jet sweeps have been kind of their bread and butter run play that have opened up more things.
Yep.
And then when Emmett Johnson came in the game, and obviously really had a great second half, but they're not going to give up on it either. I mean, I think you'll see it again, and they've got to have that play in their arsenal with Dowdell and kind of those inside runs. But they just did get a great game last week, and Purdue was prepared for it. I mean, they had a pretty good scheme lined up against the run because they knew Nebraska was going to try to run it at them, and they've been giving up the running yards like they have. And without a running quarterback, it's a little bit easier to scheme Nebraska than what Notre Dame and what the Oregon State teams were doing to Purdue a couple weeks before that.
Last thing quickly, Sean, do you believe Nebraska's run defense will be able to slow down Kyle Manigat, the running back for Rutgers?
You know, it reminds me of Mo Ibrahim from Minnesota.
Ibrahim.
Nebraska had they would always get off to a good start with him. And then in the second half, if the game tilted to the favor of their team, you know, he would kind of start to turn those 2-yard, 1-yard runs into 6, 7, 8-yard runs. And that's the key. Can they not let that happen? Where, you know, his size and downhill style takes this game over in the second half. They've got to get him tired in the first half in this heat, wear him down a little bit, and not let him wear them down on the flip side. And, you know, a lot of it is getting off the field on third down. Can they win on third down? Callahan is, you know, really good in those, you know, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4s. He knows how to get out of the pocket, dump it out to the receivers. They're 51% third down conversion team. So I think a lot of it will be, can Nebraska get off the field early in this game to not let him kind of get going as a running back?
Sean, always good stuff. Thanks for the time.
Stuff.
We'll chat with you again next week.
Hey, thanks, guys.